Welcome to SportsBeat KC, the Kansas City Star Sports podcast presented by First Federal. It's Monday, September 19th, and I'm Blair Kirchhoff. So this happened on Sunday afternoon at Children's Mercy Park as the Kansas City Current trailed the Portland Thorns 1-0 with about a minute remaining in extra time.
Mace and Edmonds are over it. Crowd is into it here. Children's Mercy Park. Ball is rolled into the path of Mace, who drills it. Hallie Mace with a firecracker equalizes for Kansas City. Look what it means to them. And with 1 minute left of injury time, it's level again. Incredible. One each.
Yes, Hallie Mace got the job done, and the Current forged a 1-1 draw that left the team tied for second place in the NWSL standing. 2 games remain in the regular season, and the Current is looking to, win the league, but finish in the top 2 to earn a first-round bye in the playoffs. It has been an amazing season for the Current, an organization in its second season. The team, hastily put together last year, finished in last place. Now it has a chance to finish first. It's a tribute to owners Angie and Jeff Long and Brittany Mahomes, coach Matt Potter, and a well-put-together roster that has developed amazing chemistry. I think that's the best way to describe a team that has a -2 goal differential but has lost only 5 of its 20 games. The momentum isn't only on the field. In a couple of weeks, the club will host a groundbreaking ceremony on its new stadium, expected to be completed by 2024. The Current already has constructed a new training facility and is now building a new home for its games. The facility and the stadium are the first to be built specifically for a women's professional soccer franchise. On today's show, we'll hear from midfielder Kristen Edmonds. She's a veteran of international and NWSL soccer and has been part of the league since 2014. I enjoy getting her perspective because of her experience. Edmonds has seen it all in the NWSL. After a break, we'll hear from the team's Executive Director of Communications, Dani Welniak. Kansas City sports followers know her from her years at Channel 5 as a sports director and an anchor. She joined the Current's front office earlier this year. Okay, let's get started with midfielder Kristen Edmonds, and I've got to apologize up front for the sound. We did the interview outdoors on a windy day, so you'll hear a Kansas City breeze blowing through our conversation. Also, the chat occurred with the Current coming off a 4-zip loss and before Sunday's game. Here's Kristen Edmonds. You're a veteran. How satisfying and gratifying are seasons like this? They don't come around every year.
They obviously don't. You know what I mean? And you put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into, the game that we love to play. And to have a team like this and a club like this to play for and have us do so well is definitely something that you look forward to as a professional. But so far it's going well, but we're not even close to done yet. There's a lot of work to still be done, but to be able to enjoy the process is definitely something special.
The season didn't start out great, obviously, and there may be some extenuating circumstances with that. But were you confident throughout, even early on, that this team could be
Absolutely. In preseason, I kept saying, this just feels different. Something just feels different. It feels special. Literally from day one, we've started to build something, like I said, really special. And obviously, you can see it on the field, but what everybody doesn't get to see is off the field and how we are with each other. Obviously, our owners have done an amazing job with what's around us, building this club up, from the inside out. But behind the closed doors, we all get along really well, and we just have so much fun being together, and it clearly translates when we get out onto the pitch.
Let the record show we're standing on a plush practice field
with a beautiful building behind.
A gorgeous building behind that not everybody, in fact, nobody else has this. And I know you spoke to it on the day it was dedicated.
Yeah.
And has the newness worn off, or
To be honest, like, not really. It's a little bit, surreal, like, just being able to come and be like, I'm going to work today, and to have this, be my place of work. Obviously, besides game days. But, yeah, it's definitely, like, every once in a while I'll still have to pinch myself and be like, this is really happening. But, we deserve it. We work for this. We work our entire careers to play for a club like this, and to be able to play for Kansas City is definitely something special, and hopefully we can continue it throughout the rest of the season.
And not the end of construction for
Right.
For the current.
Yeah.
Would you like to be around for the 2024 season?
We will see. That stadium is going to be amazing, and for me, I'm just really happy to see not just the club moving forward, but women's soccer moving forward. You know what I mean? Like, these little moments here are big milestones for us. So just to be able to see, where it's come from to where it is now and where it's going to continue to go is just something cool for me to see and maybe be a part of. We'll see.
All right, we'll stay tuned for that. Well, how about, let's go back to the team.
Yeah.
and the identity of this team.
Mm-hmm.
It's strange in that your goal differential is upside down a little,
Yeah.
but you are where you are in the standing. How does that happen?
I think we kind of just put our head down and focus on us. I know Matt says all the time, like, we need to be better at us than everybody else needs to be being at them, but it's the truth. We come in here, we focus on the things that we can control. Everything else is out of our control. So we try to do the best at what we can. And just day in and day out, he always says, like, that 1% better, and we really truly focus on that. So I think how we kind of started the regular season moving into now, obviously we had a little hiccup this week, but you can just see how far we've progressed, and it's literally been minuscule every single game, and I think we're just peaking at the right time now, and it's just a buildup of the entire season. We might not have 100 goals and we might not have 50 shutouts, but we compete every single game, and that's what we're here to do.
Seems like you do what it takes to win games.
Exactly. Yeah.
So how does that bode for postseason play? I mean, is the wins the way you guys win build confidence?
I mean, yeah. Obviously, like, shutouts, we would love to have them all the time. But the fact that we've had to come back from being down goals, it shows our character and shows, our willingness to compete and get these wins and get these 3 points. And even though we are where we are in the table, no one has clinched anything yet. The table is so tight. So we know what we're capable of doing. Now it's just a matter of implementing that come this weekend.
Where does this team in this season rank on your list of faves in your career?
Yeah, no, I absolutely love this team. Like, this is by far my favorite club, and I really, really enjoy being around my teammates and playing with them. This year will definitely stick with me for a long time.
I bet.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What did I ask you that I need to ask you about this team?
I think you got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it was more philosophical than anything.
Oh.
Did you ask her about her favorite PR person? Dani Welniak?
Yeah.
I think that's everyone's.
I think our potential, this is like year 2 for us, but our potential moving forward, I think, is really high. Our ceiling is really high. I really don't think we're close to it. So obviously we're in the moment and we're focused on it now, but obviously the future for this club is bright.
Do people talk about last year? And it was such a thrown together at the last minute, and any win was such an achievement last season.
Yeah.
And good people were there.
Yeah, of course. Honestly, we don't really talk about it too much. Maybe a joke here and there, about our facility, but we really focus on, like, what's in front of us and what's ahead of us one day at a time, and I think that is also why we're doing so well. We don't really dwell on the past and we don't look too far in the future. But yeah, we're definitely enjoying the little moments for sure.
Very good. All right, Chris. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
talking to
Appreciate
me.
it.
Yeah.
First home is a huge milestone, but the journey there can be confusing. First Federal Bank of Kansas City is here to make it simple. After nearly a century of serving the KC community, our loan advisors have experience in every type of housing market. With a short phone call, we can give you a free rate quote and talk through loan options. No pressure, no obligation. The road to home ownership can be simple with First Federal Bank. Get started with a free quote at ffbkc.com/homes. First Federal Bank of Kansas City, because banking is personal. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, this is Blair. There are several ways to access the Star Sports section. Let me tell you about a couple of them. There's Sports Pass. For $12.99 a month, you get unlimited digital access to all the Star Sports content, including beat writing, columns, features, pretty much everything we write. The deal renews monthly until you tell us to cancel. For $159.99 a year, you get everything the Star has to offer digitally, including sports and the e-edition. Go to kansascity.com and drop down to the bottom of the page where it says Start a Subscription for more information. Your support has never been more important. As always, thanks for reading and listening. Dani Welniak covered sports for Channel 5 since 2016, but we first met when she was working in Wichita TV before coming to Kansas City. She was often a one-woman crew, setting up the camera and then broadcasting from in front of it. In June, she was named the Executive Director of Communications for the Kansas City Current, and she spoke about the team, the season, and the drive to sell tickets for 2024, the first year of the new stadium. Dani, it is great to see you. It's always great to see you, but it's especially good when the team that you're working for is in first place, and you're on the cusp of a groundbreaking for a new stadium. So it seems like life is good these days.
It certainly has been, Blair. There's been a lot of things that I'm getting to see from fresh eyes, a new perspective, and really, this organization is really cool to watch from the inside because you're a part of history. You're a part of the ground floor of something so much bigger. And what the organization and what the Kansas City Current are doing right now is, something that's never been done before. So to be able to see what's going on the pitch be so successful, to be at the top of the standings, even though they're fresh off of a loss after going 13 unbeaten, it's still really cool to see that kind of success emanate on the pitch, but then also it being just as successful and exciting off the pitch with, like you mentioned, the groundbreaking that's coming up, the new training facility that just, was open about 2 months ago, and then, of course, the new stadium that's coming up here on October 6th with the groundbreaking happening. So right around the corner.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. In fact, before we started talking, I made it a point to go back and look at some of the renderings, and boy, it's just going to be gorgeous, isn't it?
Oh, it's going to be beautiful. State of the art. There's so many different things that make it um, unique and first of its kind, which I think is really cool. It's going to be super intimate. There's only 11,500 fans. That's the capacity that it allows inside of it. And so from the teal seats to the exquisite suites, there's so many different things that'll make it different and make it really, really cool. It's going to be that experience, I think, that fans will go maybe for the first time. If you're not a soccer fan, or if you are a soccer fan, it's still going to be a first of a kind experience. And they'll leave wanting to come back and wanting more. And so I really think the way that the stadium is also designed, it's very much player first, yes, but it's also fan first. And the experience is what Angie and Chris and Brittany and all the ownership group really wants fans to get out of it, is that this is a stadium made for Kansas City specifically. It's made for the players, and it's not just a great stadium for women's soccer, but it's also going to be just a great stadium, period.
Right, and the Royals have talked a lot about moving to downtown at some point. Whenever that happens, you're going to meet them there, and the location is also notable, isn't it? To be on the on the riverfront, the first stadium to be built downtown. Well, since municipal, since
Yeah.
the Kansas City A's and then the Royals spent their first few years in essentially a downtown stadium. I love that about this one, that it's going to be in downtown and really continue the growth and the renaissance of downtown Kansas City.
Yeah, the fact that it's on the riverfront, it's in downtown. I've talked to a bunch of different people, including Kathy Nelson, just about how much this is a big part of changing the riverfront. It's a big part of changing downtown and what that landscape is going to look like, and the fact that it's going to be really accessible for most people. Like, we have this vision, right, of like Arrowhead and Kaufman, but this kind of changes a fan's perspective and a fan's mentality of, okay, we're gonna have to take, public transportation, or we're gonna have to walk, or there's bikes that are accessible to get to it. But fans in that area should have no problem getting to a game. And so I think that's what's kind of cool about it being downtown, and just the atmosphere, that there's going to be a lot of stuff built up around it, and it's going to be this like beacon of um more um more buildings, more bars, more restaurants, more apartment complexes, like just whatever's being built up around it. I think is what people need to really look forward to too, is that it's going to be this awesome experience both inside the stadium and also around the stadium as the first downtown stadium for Kansas City.
Yeah, it strikes me as a stadium built for 21st century Kansas City. And,
Yep.
look, when the Truman Sports Complex was completed, it was a marvel, right? It was the first football and baseball stadiums built side by side, specific to those sports. And there was a lot of congratulations for Kansas City for designing them and putting where they were. And the idea of putting them where they were was because of convenience for the motorist. And
Hmm.
and that was significant when those were constructed. But you know, the current building, its downtown stadium, and the Royals considering doing that. I think we've changed, and the ideas of how to consume sports in person have changed, and this is how it needs to be done going forward. You want to be able to walk to a stadium, and you want to have the bars and the restaurants and entertainment available to you near the stadium, walkable distance. Make it part of the downtown fabric, and that's what we're getting with this stadium now.
Yeah.
Uh, just this week, the team wanted to kind of get a jump on ticket sales for 2024.
Hmm.
Tell us how that's going to work, how it's working now, and how does 2023, how was that impacted by what you're trying to do for the following year?
Well, the beautiful thing about 2023 is that if you're already a season ticket member in 2023, you have your priority for choosing a ticket and a seat, and being a season ticket holder for the 2024 season when the new stadium comes around. So our big 913 day was a big push to make sure that you put down your season ticket deposits. Um, if you're a season ticket holder, but also if you're not a season ticket holder and you want to be in 2024. So we had four different levels of stadium ticket deposits that the Kansas City Current ended up putting out there on 913, and that was the first day that they actually physically accepted the deposits. And it was the club seat, the general reserve, the supporters deposit, and then there was also the suite deposit. So four different levels of deposit depending on what you're kind of looking forward to, or what you're envisioning as a fan wanting to be a season ticket holder as. And so far it's going really well, so we're really excited about it. And we're still accepting deposits now, so hoping that success continues.
Yeah. So next year, obviously, Children's Mercy Park, one last year in
Yep.
where Sporting KC shares a stadium with Sporting KC, and then 2024 with the NWSL season begins pretty early in the calendar year, right? I mean, so once the groundbreaking hits, I see nonstop construction going on. The cranes and everything else. Involved with construction going full go for once it begins.
Well, and what's crazy is that's kind of the MO, right? Is that a lot of it is sustainability and the idea of the construction behind it and how the stadium is built. It goes back to even the training facility, that it didn't take long for the training facility to be put up either. And so, looking at that 1 year window, you're like, that feels like a short amount of time. But everyone from ownership to the construction group and all of the designers and everyone involved, it doesn't seem like it's going to be any kind of problem. So that's what's really cool and really exciting about it, is that you'll turn right around from groundbreaking on October 6th here in 2022 and have a stadium ready to go by the time that NWSL season kicks off, like March, April-ish for 2024.
Right. So how much impact has the success of this year's team had on not only just ticket sales and the enthusiasm for the new stadium, but just on the franchise? I mean, this is a franchise that's what, a year and a half old, and went through a full season, was not successful on the pitch, but the fact that they got it up and running with just a few weeks' notice was incredible, to even have a team. And then in year two, being in first place with a couple weeks to go in the regular season, pretty much clinching. They haven't clinched anything yet, but I think it's at this point kind of expecting to have a first round bye in the playoffs, which would be pretty amazing.
It's an incredible turnaround from where this organization was a year ago to where it is now. And I think that you look at the product on the pitch and you can't deny that the success on the pitch, and especially during that 13 unbeaten streak, that fan support was there. Kansas City supports this team like nobody else that I've ever seen. But then also, the more successful they became, the more you see the fan backing and the more momentum and the more excitement. And I think, Blair, you and I have had conversations about how players become like lovable and how you can enjoy them. And I think the current and the athletes on this team are also kind of finding their identity and finding that swagger. And like something as simple as the celebrations, that KC is this celebration city with Lola Bonta and her, her fake injury twerk, or Hallie Mace, scoring a goal and doing the flex, and Kristen Hamilton doing the air guitar or the leg guitar. Like, I think that stuff really resonates with Kansas City fans, and I think it resonates with people outside of Kansas City, and that allows those players to be loved, to really again resonate with just regular fans. And I think success, the personality behind the players, and then also what's going on in the front office and how Angie and Chris and Brittany are investing in leaders and putting really good people in place, whether it's, from the technical staff like Matt Potter and bringing him in, and even bringing in Cammie, who is the general manager, and Allison, who's the president. Like, everything from the top to the bottom, from the front office to the pitch, everything's kind of changing, but it's with the expectation of winning a championship. And so that championship mindset, I think, is really important to have just all across an entire organization. And while everyone out there is seeing the product on the pitch and how the team's being successful, it's a lot of the stuff that's going on behind the scenes as well that's making that possible, and also creating that excitement and that momentum.
Yeah, you mentioned some of the front office personnel. They came here with experience. They were, seasoned pros when they got here, and that's quite to the advantage of the organization to have those types of professionals working for this organization. So, hey, one thing that I've noticed in the times that I have gone to games, and maybe it's just you're a young mother and I'm a father of three, but I just love how this team connects to youth, and boys and girls, right? And after games, how much time the players spend, with kids, with families. It just impresses the heck out of me, and I'm glad. Listen, I'm a jaded journalist. Maybe it's like this everywhere, but this is where I see it, and I'm glad it's happening in my town.
Yeah, and that's one of my favorite things about being part of this organization, is that, like you mentioned, being a young mom and knowing that like my daughter has this example to see and look up to, and see herself being someday, I think, is really powerful. And I think it's really important because we've never had this before. And you mentioned you're seeing it in your hometown, you're seeing it in your own backyard. We had, gosh, it was, I can't remember exactly which match it was, But AD Franch is kind of like the perfect epitome of what you're talking about, because she has stayed to sign autographs and talk to kids, and even just supporters until the lights go off at Children's Mercy Park sometimes. And I had a chance to kind of follow her around after the Angel City match, and it was like she had all of these other obligations, but in between the media obligations and going to talk to other people like that she had to talk to, she would stop, and like every kid that she saw, she wanted to make sure that not only did she sign an autograph or take a picture, but she also had like a conversation with them. And I think that also is so powerful, because it's those moments, Blair, that like with your kids, that even when they're like 2 or 3 or 4, like they remember for the rest of their lives, and it sits with them, and it makes them not only AD French fans, right, but it makes them women's soccer fans as they grow up. And so I just think it's so important, and it's just so cool to see.
No doubt about it. I love the connection that this team is gaining with this community, especially with the youth. Okay, Dani, it's always great to catch up with you, and hope to see you during the playoffs, if not before.
That's the goal. Let's do it.
That'll do it for today. Thanks to our SportsBeat KC staff of Monty Davis, Randy Mason, George Howard, and Jeff Rosen. A salute to our sponsor, First Federal Bank. Their website is ffbkc.com. Also, thanks to Kansas City current midfielder Kristen Edmonds and the team's executive director of communications, Dani Welniak, for sharing their insights. Morning Sports Edition was 46 pages of NFL, college football, golf, baseball, NASCAR playoffs, everything you want in sports. Check it out at liveedition.kansascity.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back soon with another SportsBeat KC.